all fours to you and I. All right, the all fours position. Okay, what I'm looking for is wrist extension. Okay, and now in order to achieve that, I would like a position that you can get straight elbow. All right, not snapping into it. You've got some musculature working going on. Straight arm into the shoulder, nice and set. Your hands do not need to be straightforward. In fact, we're going to play around with some angles today, and we're going to do 3 different positions, pails and rails. So we're here, there, here, or you can stay in the same position and rotate your arm and see how that affects different tissues, different load profiles. Okay, if you're not comfortable here, you could stand up, put your hands on the table, that would be fine. If you're more likely to, if you're more comfortable just doing 1 at a time, that's also fine. Okay, I'm going to do it with 2. All right, and if you can join along. All right, so hands out in front. We're going to load over as much as we can. Okay, now just like with anything else, we don't want closing angle joint pain. Pressure in the hand I will take. Okay, but what I don't want is a pinching sensation here. If you do get closing angle joint pain, just back out and see if you can have it and do stuff from here. All right, back out even more if you can do stuff from here. It's all good stuff. All right, but we're getting a lot of closing angle joint pain in end range. Maybe that would be sort of outside my remit, and then you would go and see a practitioner to see if there's something else going on. Okay, but if you can, we're going to go forwards. All right, the stretch on the outside of the open side, this is all the stuff that's getting stretched out. And you're just taking a couple of breaths here. Let people talk about the angles, etc. Okay, so snap into the elbows. Okay, nice easy position. So we're going to do 3 positions, tails and rails. I only need you to get to 60% because I know that this can be uncomfortable. I know so at least 2 of you have had wrist injuries recently, okay, or in the past couple of years. So do be careful with this. So 60% is fine. The pails contraction would be to gas pedal your hand into the floor so that you're trying to straighten it. All right, that will load the tissues at the back here. All right, so it should all be in the back of the arm. The elbow straight, and then we bring in the rest of the body and radiate tension. Take a big breath. Stay at your end range. Start to push those fingers down into the floor. The root of the wrist stays down. Okay. Bring that tension up into the forearms, into the triceps, into the rest of your body, up to 60% and hold. As you're holding there, you can shorten your breath. Bring your body up to a higher state of readiness. 10 seconds here, and then we're going to switch to rails, which would be the opposite, regressive tough. Try and lift your fingers off the floor. 4, 3, 2, switch it, 20%, trying to lift those fingers up now. You're going to feel increased pressure, so weird sensation in your hand. Okay, bring it up to 40. Up into the forearms, into the triceps. 60, hold there. Shorten the breath. 15 seconds. Here we go. Keep it there. Keep trying to pull those fingers up. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Tension. Stay where you are. See if you've been afforded a little bit more room, up to probably about 15 degrees. Change the angle slightly. Either something like rotate the arm, okay, from the shoulder, and then find a new end range, or take the hands out, turn them this way if you want to. Okay, up to you. Same thing. All right, I'm going to just turn out ever so slightly this way, so I'm sort of facing 2 and 10 on the clock. All right, I'm going to go forwards again. End range. Take a couple of breaths. Last one. Root the wrist down. Pails contraction, pushing those fingers down into the floor. 20%. Go through your percentages, bring that up to 40. Not snapped into the elbows, into the forearms now. Triceps as well. Bring the rest of that body up to 60. 15 seconds. Here we go. Pushing down. Stretch on the open side. Okay. All up here. All the back of the arm. That's it. Keep pushing those fingers down. 4, 3, 2. Stay where you are. Now trying to lift the hands up. Root of the wrist down. All into the back of the hands, into the top of the forearms. The regressive tissue now. Triceps still doing their work. Bring it up to 60. Rest of the body. Shorten the breath. Keep pulling them up. 2, 1, relax. Third and final position. You could even try something like spreading your fingers out even wider or narrower, okay? That will change it again, all right? I'm gonna go out even further and still going over this way, all right? You don't have to copy me. You can find another line of tissue that makes sense to you. You might try turning your fingers towards you, okay? Take a breath, find that end range. Pushing those fingers down. Go through 20%, up to 40. Trying to gas pedal. Whole body up to 60 now. Keep it there. Keep pushing those fingers down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Switch it to rails. Try and pick those fingers up. Reach of the wrist. Stay down. All the stuff on the front of the arm now. That's the regressive tissue. Up through the forearms, into the triceps, into the rest of the body. Keep holding 60% now. Last one. It does feel weird in the top of the hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just take a couple of relaxing breaths there, release the tension, any twitching that's going on. Find a comfortable position just to get back into a couple of wrist circles, okay? Do them one at a time, actually. So take a wrist, any wrist. Palm up towards you. That's not the movement we tested, okay, or affected there. Finger in towards the middle. Here we go. As we open up, we feel like we've got more room, more control. Thumb to the outside, thumb the lift. Back up towards you. And again, open. 2 in the opposite direction, thumb the lift. Wrist extension, through the middle. Back up, cross. Through the middle. There we go. Other hand, palm towards you. Oh, it's terrible, this one. Little finger in towards the middle. Don't roll the forearm. Open up. And again. Slow, maximum range. See how tired I am now, I'm shaking. Thumb the lift towards the outside. Open up again. Max that out. That's what we just trained. Little finger in towards the middle. Okay, staying with the wrist, just quickly. Passive range holds. Okay, so what we would do there, pick your favorite of those 3 positions. Take yourself to end range. Back off 15, 20 degrees. Okay, the idea here is now to activate the regressive tissue. So all this stuff here, trying to lift those fingers up. And as I then rock back on my heel of my wrist, there's no lag time between my fingers coming up. So as soon as I start to rock back, those fingers come with me. If I've got a difference between my active and passive ratio, as I load 15, 20 degrees off my end range, as I start to go with regressive tissue, I max that out. And then as I rock back on my wrist, my hand stays flat, stays flat, stays flat. And then it would come with me then, all right? If, like me here, you start to pick them up, and as you rock back, it comes with you immediately, okay? That would show you that you've got a good ratio between active and passive work, all right? Let's go one wrist at a time, because I think it's quite difficult to get that rock. So if you can, here we go. One fist, one set of fingers facing forward, rock into your end range, back off 15, 20 degrees. Regressive tissue on, try and lift those fingers up, pull it up all the way into this tricep as well. And then try and rock back on your wrist, bring that with you. Hold, 2, 1, back down. Back to your 15, 20 degree mark. Try and lift those fingers up again. Max that out, and then rock back. 2, 1. If you've already lost a little bit of quality, maybe stop. All right, for those last one. Lift. Rock back. movement to bend my elbow. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to stop. I go forward, end range, back off 15, 20 degrees, take a breath, activate regressive tissue by trying to pull the fingers up into that forearm, into the tricep. Once I've got a maximum, I then put back on my wrist and bring my fingers down with me. 2, 1, relax. 15, 20 degrees. Pick up, rock back. A little bit of lag time there from me. Last one. Forward, back off 15, 20 degrees. Regressive tissue, trying to pick the fingers up into the forearm. And rock back onto the heel. Relax. Well done, guys. Might be seen as a bit niche, the wrist, but the amount of people I get telling me they got sore wrists, and specificity is the key. You can't just rely on press ups to do it for you. In fact, that might be the cause of your pain. Okay, so shoulder retraction. Okay, your friend of mine, we've done this before, so if you can do it prone, all right. I know that this sound isn't great, so we'll describe it first. Prone, belly down, okay. If you need the blocks because you've got a little bit of room back here, fine. Pick a position where you can take your shoulders into retraction, hands into the floor. A little bit like you're doing a press up, okay? The focus is the shoulder blades, so we're not gonna have our shoulders forward. We're gonna pull them back together. We're not gonna hang around there. We're gonna get up to 2 rounds of max effort, pails and rails, okay? Just to create a little bit of space before we get into the main work of our shoulder external rotation. Okay, so not shoulders forward, back, pull them together, okay? Rib cage down. Pails is to push into the floor. You can either be hands, or if you've had enough of that, go fists, all right? Neutral wrist, all right? If you want a little bit more wrist action, then you can always go palms flat, okay? We're pushing down into the floor, okay, but keeping our shoulders retracted, okay? We're not trying to do a press up, we're trying to affect tissue in and around the shoulder blade. The rails contraction then would be to switch immediately, don't hang around, go fairly quickly through that dial, get it up to 100%, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, okay? Trying to pull as much of those shoulder blades together. Imagine you've got a pencil in there, you're trying to snap that pencil in half, all right? So big explanation there. Hopefully some of you are already prone and you're getting into that position. If you're not, do so now. Like I said, the audio is sometimes not great, but at least everybody knows what they're doing, okay? I'm gonna do it this side on so you can see me if you are watching, all right? But that means that the length is a little bit different, but what's happening in my lower body is as long as it's not stopping me from doing what I want, is not that important, okay? So I'm gonna pick this position. Shoulder blades not forward, pull them together, rib cage down, squeeze my bum, squeezing my shoulder blades together, and then pushing into the floor. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, push. Like I said, pretty quickly, getting up to a max effort. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Get it up to a max. 2, 1. Relax, breathe. Either pick a different position, all right, or if you realize there that maybe actually you need to go through the dial up, dial down a little bit slower, that's absolutely fine. Again, we've got some experienced people here who want quality work going on. I'm going to change my position slightly. Rib cage down. Shoulder blades together. Keeping them where they are, push down into the floor. Build it up to that max effort, safe effort. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull them together even more. Your hands will feel light. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay. Oh, just realized we didn't do our shoulder blades in the car, so let's just go with that anyway. Hands down by your side. Okay, if you need to stand, if you need to do a different base position, that's absolutely fine. Shoulders retract, up, forward. 3 one way. through the other way. All right, now we're into it. Shoulders. If you don't have your blocks, or if you don't have the books available, now's the time to get them. Okay, you will be prone. Okay, again, if you don't have 2 blocks, you can just do this elbow on the floor. It's absolutely fine. All right, I will show you. I'll turn this now. So, face down, one arm in 90 degrees of abduction. To you and I, that means this position, out to the side. Okay, what we're trying to affect today is external rotation of the shoulders. So that's going back for all you throwers out there. Okay, so the way that we've set that up in the past is either a block or a book, and then something probably a little bit higher, so that takes you into external rotation. Okay, my head's down now, you can see a little bit more. Or if you don't have 2 blocks, you can just go from the floor. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We want to be at your end range. Okay, however, what I've noticed by taking through some people in their personal sessions with this is not many people have this external rotation available to them. So if I give you the example here, I say, I want you to get into more external rotation. Your body goes, no, I can't do that. So what do? That and this, your brain, that's its solution, is to open up through that chest. So today, when you're finding this end range or this passive end range, okay, be aware of what your rib cage is going to do. And we're going to try, because this is the fixed position of your arm. You can imagine now that the floor is here, that this is the fixed position. So we're going to move our torsos, our bodies around the head of this upper arm in order to affect stretch in the front of the shoulder. Okay, nasal breathing, trying to get that rib cage to drop, particularly when we exhale, and not to lift too much, lifting you into extension on the way in. So try and keep we're trying to keep the sternum and your pelvic floor connected a little bit, so there's less opening here, which means that you'll be able to get a better sensation in these target tissues. Okay, I changed my mind. This isn't the best position. So hopefully you're prone, right? Hopefully you've been either in position, because you've done this before, or you have been just doing the passive stretch, or you've just been fiddling around with it. So I'm out to the side. For me, my setup is here. All right, this is good for me. I know now, with a decent level of nasal breathing and dropping my chest, I'm going to get that stretch in the front of my shoulder. Everybody there now, nice deep breaths. Okay, pails and rails, we want to open up more space, okay, available to us. So the way we're going to do that is, first of all, by pushing down into the forward block, okay, but it's coming from the shoulder. All right, and specifically the actual shoulder joint and not the shoulder blade. So if you feel like, as you're building up tension, if your shoulder blade is sliding up and you're bringing that shoulder towards the ear, back off a little bit and think rotation. So get in your mind this idea of a wheel, steering wheel, any wheel, all right, and that rotational capacity. If things start sliding up, that's not rotation. It has to be this way, okay? Take a big breath. What have I written down here? Ooh, 2 rounds is up to 80%, okay? When we do the rails, you're going to try and drive the elbow in and create space between your hand and whatever your hand is on. If you are getting space, you're not on enough external rotation. So for the next round, build it up or take away what's underneath your elbow, okay? Here we go, guys. Head down. If you're not already, take a big breath. Rib cage down, squeeze the bum. Think about rotation and start pushing that hand down into the block. That should increase the load in the front tissues of the shoulder. Through 20. Up to 60. 70 now. Get it up to 80. And hold that. Shorten your breath. High state of readiness. Keep pushing down. Keep pushing down. Rotation, rotation, rotation. 4, 3, quick as a flash. Switch it. Try and rotate backwards. Elbow into the block. trying to create space, not through the shoulder blade, all underneath the armpit. 60%, 70, get it up to 80 now and try and really rotate backwards. Hold it there. 2, 1. Breathe, relax. If you think your body's giving you a little bit more, okay, go to that new end range. If you were like, hey, you know what, actually I need to practice at this range a little bit more because I was throwing the shoulder blade at it, or maybe 80% is too high for you right now, all right, because you just couldn't concentrate, it's too much going on, too much stimulus, back it off to 60, all right? Second round. 2 more breaths, just relax. Rib cage closed, move that body around the shoulder. In and Hale's contraction down into the block, push. Build it up, 40, 50, 60, stay there if you're comfortable, if not, keep going, 70, 80% now. Rotation, rotation, not just down, think about, keep holding, 5 seconds, I know it's long, 2, 1, opposite way, trying to rotate backwards, not from the shoulder blade, elbow down. $60, 70, 80, trying to lift that hand off the block, wrist straight, keep it at 80, 2, 1, relax. Okay, a couple of breaths just to get rid of some of that tension. Find a position that you're comfortable in so that we can do some capsular cars. I'm going to sit on my block, all right? You can stand, you can kneel, you can sit on your block. I know some of you have invested, all right? You keep turning up to these sessions, guys, and you haven't got some yoga blocks. I think the world has gone a little bit more back to normal, so things are available on the internet. So nice straight back, arm up into that abduction, sort of pretty much the same position that we were just in, and we're going to try to affect through capsular cars coming forward to 90 degrees, and then working back softly. And then as I get into more external rotation, I'll make sure I keep my rib cage down, and I get to a maximum effort backwards. Forward, okay, side on, I'll do another one side on, and then I'll go front on. Rotate softly as it starts to get more intense, and you want to lift the chest, rib cage down, abs on, got to build up the tension, rotate, 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 good, in front, 90 degrees from here, start winding it up, rib cage down, along that axis, rotate, 2 more, I feel weak as a kitten there. Soft, start to get it, build it up, wind it up. 1 more. Keep that rib cage down. If you start to lean back, back off a little bit, come back, set it. It should be all underneath that armpit now. And back. Good. Okay, other arm. And then we're going to do some double passive range lift-offs, okay? Oh, I'm absolutely smashing this. Okay, timing-wise that is. You might think it's crap. Other arm, other arm, other arm. Don't be surprised if this is different. If you've gone from dominant to non-dominant arm, or either just left and right if you're ambidextrous. All right, there is going to be a difference between left and right, so it might mean that you might not be as high, or you might need to go a little bit higher. You might need to maneuver a little bit just to affect, to get that stretch in this front of the shoulder. Again, we want to maneuver the torso around. Okay, hopefully you guys have already gone, so you're not just watching me now. I'm doing this for audio purposes. All right, so you're face down and you're doing some nasal breaths. Get it up. Going around with that breathing, trying to connect rib cage, sternum to the pelvis, okay? And learning how to get a better stretch by maneuvering the body. This side. Okay, I'd say what, 3 more breaths. Allow the body just to sink round. You can see that I've taken away one of my blocks. I'm going to better stretch it lower down on this one. 1 more breath. Hold that air in. And tails now down 20%. Rotation, that idea of a wheel turning. Hand feels heavy, elbow feels light. If you are still watching me, I've got my head turned to the left so that I can hope that it's better audio. Should be up at 60, 70% of your effort now. 80, hold it there. Shorten your breath. Make sure that rib cage is still down. Keep it at 80, hold it there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch to rails, rotate backwards. Hand feels light, elbow feels heavy. Not the shoulder blade. 60, 70. Hold it at 80% now. 3, 2, 1. Relax. If you think the body's afforded you a little bit more room, if you've got over that, or you've lengthened the stretch shorten cycle, okay, or the stretch range, go to that now and take a couple of breaths. 1 more round of this. Breath in. Start to wind it up 20%, pushing down, pales contraction. You should be loading the tissues at the front of the shoulder now. If it's in the back, you've gone too far. Back out, okay? Don't go with so much stretch. Through that 40, towards 60, 70. Hold for 80, 15 seconds. Here we go, push. Keep it at 80. 2, 1, switch to rails. Try and rotate back. Space between your hand and the block. Elbow heavy, hand light. And rotation muscle. Rotate your cuff, not shoulder blade. Keep it there. 4, 3, 2. Couple of breaths just to relax. Grim. Find your position that makes sense once you've got rid of all that twitching and you've got that breath back down. It's going to help you with capsular calves. Oh, do it on the 45-degree angle now. What a treat. You could, if you're feeling fruity here. I mean, I sit on my knees. That is the base position. I can sit now in bear sit. Okay. I want to just get a little bit of hip action, and then do my capsular calves. Rib cage down. We go forward. 90 degrees into internal rotation. Back up through. Start to wind it up. Keep that rib cage down. Max effort, and then back. Back. Work it back. Past vertical. Oh, I can really feel the urge to try and lift my shoulder there. 2 to go. What I'm hoping is, you can keep going, but what I'm hoping is if you can find that point where you want to compensate, right? You can then keep that ribcage connected with the pelvis. As you get there, you may not feel like it's going to go any further because you've reached your end range, but hopefully it feels more correct, or it feels that if you spend a little bit more time doing it, that's a position, this is providing enough stability for you to be able to add strength and layer onto that, okay? You get there and you're constantly finding that strength somewhere else, you don't really give the shoulder a chance. Okay, the double passive range lift off. So not as high as you were, because otherwise you won't be able to lift off. All right, so set your blocks. if you're not using yoga blocks and you don't have equal heights of books, let's say, okay, then you can do this one at a time, not a problem, all right? You can do this one at a time. We're gonna do 5 reps with a 5-second hold, okay? 5 reps with a 5-second hold. I am gonna do it like so, okay? So, prone again, both arms into external shoulder rotation, okay? So for me, my yoga blocks are gonna be here, my hands are gonna be here, head down, okay? And then I sort out that breathing, rib cage down. The idea is to then take breath and then use regressive tissue, so the stuff on the back of my shoulder, to try and lift both of my hands off the blocks, all right? If you're not getting your hands off, all right, and you will be lower than if you're doing it one side, okay? For some reason, even though these shoulders there's nothing in this shoulder that's in this shoulder, I don't know why. So I do want a little bit of space. So just like with the wrist, okay, we have to back off 15, 20 degrees. I want you at your lowest, but that you can still create space, okay? Or should I say, I want you in the most external rotation, but still being able to lift off, okay? Head down, either one arm or two. 5 reps, 5-second hold. Take your breath, rib cage down. 2, 1, rotate and lift. 3, 2, 1, relax. Okay. It will be hard here to not move the shoulder blades, so I suggest you dial up. Don't just turn it on like a light switch. Bring on the regressive tissue, and then the hands should feel like they're just hovering and floating. Okay. Here we go. Rib cage down. Number 2. And start to rotate. Capture all of that regressive tissue and lift when you're ready. Down. If I'm lifting before you've lifted, all right, and you're out of sync with the seconds, don't worry about that. All right, go with your own pace. Ready? Number 3. Rib cage down. Start to externally rotate. Elbows down into the floor. Hands should hover once you've captured enough regressive tissue. Down. Real urge for me to lift my chest off the floor here. Rib cage down. Number 4. Rotate externally. Down. Last one. Breathe in. 2, 1. Relax. Whew. Well done, guys. If you had to do that one arm, just while I get a little drink, go into another round on your other arm, okay? If you were able to do doubles, some of you would just have to go off the floor, which is absolutely fine, okay? Everybody is different. Okay, so now we can, less of the technical, well, it's still technical, but we're going to play around with some hovers, okay? Some hovers, some hinges, that kind of stuff. A little bit more complex, okay? I'm going to show you the one that I think most of you will go for, okay, first. But I'm going to give those who want to try it just that a little bit more complexity as well, okay? So the form is, how are you going to do this, Matt? One arm at a time to start with, okay? Into either from the floor, okay, from that 90 degrees, or slightly raised if you have the option, okay? And we're going to combine pulling with the shoulder blades, as well as then doing some of the external rotation stuff that we've done, okay? And then extending, hinging from the elbows. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to retract my shoulder blades first, squeeze together, then lift my arm as much as I can. I'm going to straighten at the elbow. And at that end range then, Then I'm going to externally rotate. So basically take my thumb towards the ceiling. As I do that, just like when we do the cars, there's rotating the arm, and then there's rotate the whole arm, and then there's rotating just the forearm. So be aware that we want that external rotation coming from the shoulder. Oh. Okay, so squeeze the shoulder blades together first. Lift as high as you can. Straighten at the elbow, and then externally rotate from the shoulder. Back the same way you came. Down. All right. If you haven't already got into position, now's the time to do so. We're going to do 5 of those. Okay. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this is clear. That's clear in my mind. So I'll take some feedback afterwards because this is quite complicated. All right. You don't have to have your feet in this position. It's just because I'm in the lounge. Rib cage down, head down. Other hand, my other arm is out to the side. All right. That's where I'm comfortable. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together now, just like we did with that shoulder retraction. I lift my whole arm up, keep squeezing my shoulder blades. Straighten at the elbow. Keep squeezing my shoulder blade. Thumb a lift, rotate the whole arm. Rotate, hinge, back down. I would hazard a guess that some of you are not going to know, or you're not going to be able to feel right now, whether you're rotating just at the elbow or just at the shoulder. And I apologize for that, because this is just the way it is when we're on Zoom. If we were in a class, I'd be able to give you a little bit more technical or tactical feedback, and that would really help. Okay. All I would say, well, what I can say is if you just really, in your mind, visualize where you want to move from, that's going to give you the best opportunity to do it, even if you then still end up just rotating at the elbow. All right. The fact that you've got in your mind that you're trying to do it from the shoulder is very, very important. Rib cage down. Shoulder blades together. Squeeze. Lift the whole arm. Keep squeezing together. High as you can, straighten at the elbow. Thumb a lift. Thumb back to where it came from. Hinge. Back down. Okay. Straight again. Up. Straighten the elbow. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Take. Back. Touch. And again. Let's get some reps in the bench here. Elbow. Externally rotate. Thumb the left. Back. In. Last one. Lift. Straighten. Thumb the left. Take down. Back. Oh my goodness me. That gets a beat on. Whew. Here we go, other side. Okay. We sort of quickened the pace there, which I quite enjoyed. All right. So again, you've got some experienced guys here. So if you want to, it's just a light touch. Let's just get some reps in. All right. I'm aiming for about 5, but you know me, I can't really count that well. So if we end up doing a few more or one less, don't shout. All right. Here we go. Arm out to the side. Rib cage down. Other arms out in a T shape. Pull my shoulder blades together. Here we go. Rep 1. Lift. Elbow. Still squeezing the shoulder blades together. Thumb the left. Back. Hinge. Down. Lift. Straighten the elbow. Rotate. Back. Lift. Rib cage down. That's the hardest thing for me at the moment. Straighten. Rotate. Back. hinge, lift, straighten, rotate, back, one more, touch, lift, straighten, rotate, back, in, down. Holy moly. I don't know whether if any of you there stopped. You end up looking at watching me, okay? Not that you should, but you can see how hard. I mean, even that for me, that is complicated. Right at that end range, straightening, trying to keep the shoulder blades set, my arms straight. Okay, that's hard, all right? Now, these don't look like things that you do in the gym, but these ideas of, okay, how difficult is it when you're trying to set your shoulder blades so I have to keep my arms straight? Think of it, exercises that you're trying to do over your head. Set the shoulder blade. How stable are you there? And that's why breaking them down into these sort of more specific things rather than only relying on the pattern, okay, that you're doing in the gym to achieve that mobility, because you can't move where you can't move, all right? Oh, 4 minutes, right? So what I was saying, I'm going to talk a little bit because that's actually the end of the session. I've got a real bead on there. So what I want to talk about is that hinge point training. So we were moving cat-camel. So if everybody lies down on their side now, okay, and we can talk about how to better train, okay, even though it's not the sexiest thing in the world, okay, better train our spines, okay, rather than just relying on the pattern of cat-camel. So if you lie on your side, all right, knees up at 90 degrees, okay, and if you've got something that you can squeeze between your legs that will keep you in more of a sort of hip width apart, that would be good, okay. Back is relatively neutral, rib cage down, okay, and then you're going to take your hand and you're going to start feeling into your spine, okay, and what you'll notice is that there's those bony processes, okay. Okay, those are the processes of individual vertebrae, of which there's, I'm going to gamble, 24, all right, 24. So, and what I want you to do now is try and find, with the index finger or maybe the thumb, a gap in between those bony processes. So we just say not too low, all right, so sort of just above the old, the builders, okay, and find the first gap between two, all right. Like I said, this is not sexy, all right. And the idea is to apply just that little bit of pressure with your fingers, okay? And then what I want you to try and do is try to maneuver your spine, okay? A bit like you do in a cat-camel, and see if you can increase pressure into the fingers, okay? You're not going to move loads because that lower back doesn't move loads. You would then try and push in, very, very subtle, and then try and pull away and reduce. Okay, reduce that pressure. And again, push just at the point where the pressure is with your fingers. Hold it for 5 seconds or so, and then away. Now, some of you are like, what the hell? This is the worst. I know, all right, but we just don't have a good way to think about another way to do it, all right? It's better if you've got somebody else doing the pressure for you. Sometimes you can do it lying on your back, and if you've got like a AAA battery, you can work that up the spine. Okay, but this is the best way we've got at trying to individually train each vertebrae, or the separation, segmentation of each vertebrae. Now, you don't need to move a lot, okay, at each segment, because as you move your spine, it sort of accumulates. If it's 1 degree here, it's 1 degree there, but that's 2 degrees in total, so we end up getting this much better curvature and also individual control. Also, while I'm nattering on and you're just trying to, you can now start to move that finger, that thumb up one space and then try and do it there. You will find one, probably everybody's got one or two where they move a lot, okay? And that, again, is another reason you guys keep practicing it. The audio is not great. And that's kind of the point why we're trying to do this. We're trying to give back control to other areas of your spine, because at the moment, a lot of us move not very much at the bottom, a lot in that one here, and then not a lot at the ones at the top. And that place where you are moving, that's having to do the work of all the ones around it. So if we can give back some capacity, okay, and some responsibility to some of the others, okay, then that one that was doing loads of work doesn't have to do so much work anymore. All right, then you'll get better segmentation of the spine. Then you've got a spine that can move when it needs to move, and then it can also stabilize when it needs to stabilize. All right, you can, as I said, you could take something like this pen lid, all right, and do this line on your back, and that may bear a bit more fruit for you. Okay, you find that bony process here, and because you're getting a little bit more tactical feedback from the floor, you can then start to try and push that spine in, and then release some of that pressure. Spine in, increase the pressure into the pen lid, okay? Do be careful that you're not trying to do it with your pelvis, okay, or just using breathing in order to sort of lift you up and then to, as you exhale, go down, okay? Like I said, if you want a little bit more tutorial on that, please ask, because like I said, it's not the sexiest thing, but it will, and this is a theory, this is my theory, that because the spine is so fundamental to everything that we do, a bit like breathing, I think if you show your spine a better way to move, that you will pick it up very, very quickly once you get through that sort of initial stage of like, what the hell am I actually trying to do? So hopefully one day I'll be able to see all of you in person and I can give you that tactical feedback, but it does work if you spend a bit of time on your own. Okay, so a little bit of, I'll call that the homework for the week, hinge point training. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me on Saturday morning. All right. It looks like it could be the last of the summer weather. Get out there, get some vitamin D. Any questions? I'll take them now. If not, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Matt. Cheers.
Cheers, Nick.
Thanks, Matt. Bye.
Cheers.